This video is brought to you by Squarespace. This is the new Canon 45mm f1.2 lens for the RF mount. It's versatile, it's somewhat compact, and it's under $500. But is it any good? I'm going to be taking some portrait shoots here in New London, and I'm going to be looking at image quality and telling you if this lens is worth the $470 and if it's right for you. Let's talk about the build, specs, and features. Now, it feels like a nicely made lens, but I want to tell you it's pretty stripped down. It has the manual focus, autofocus button here, and then nothing else because it doesn't have image stabilization, so it doesn't need any more switches. It has these two dials here. The front one can be programmed. I have it set to aperture, and this is the focus ring, which is nice and smooth. Let's talk about some other components of this lens. Now, I mentioned it does not have image stabilization. It has 9 blades, and it has the STM focusing motor, which is supposed to be smooth and quiet and usable for video, so we can test that out. It's an interesting focal length at 45mm. When I first heard of that, I was like, that seems random. But really, it's like a 50mm lens, and it's a little bit wider if you're in enclosed spaces, so that's nice. But it has the versatility. You can do portraits, you can do events, you can shoot just about anything if you're traveling. It's a good walking around town lens to just keep on your camera, and it's under $500 at $470 US. So let's take some pictures and see how it actually performs. Let's see how it performs for portraits. Kayla, will you do some? Oh, she's already posing. I swear she's born to model. I turned around and she's just like, all right, let's see. That looks so good. All right, and I'm at f4. I'm gonna open up and do like f2.8, see what that looks like. Can you look off and towards the sun a little bit? It's wide enough that I'm still getting some of the environment. It's a really true to sight focal length at 45mm. You're not getting a lot of distortion. You're not getting a lot of compression from zooming in. Really nice for portraits. And even if I get close to her, you can see not a lot of distortion. I'm gonna go all the way and open it up to 1.2 and see what that looks like. Vignetting at f1.2 is pretty severe, but once you step down the aperture a bit, it goes away. So you can see at 4.5, it gets gradual. Let's put it on the develop module so we can see what it looks like when you get rid of it. Here it is without, and here it is with it. Kind of like it. You know, this is not an L series lens. It's not going to be super fast and sharp like a $2,000 version of this lens, but it's working well and it's latching onto her eye. I'll have to drag it into my computer to see if everything's in focus, but it looks good. And it has the versatility to get full body shots as well. I love the versatility of this lens. Now, in my last review of an f1.2 lens, some people were concerned that the depth of field would be too shallow, but I want to show you something. If you get close to your subject, the depth of field will be super shallow, but if you step away, it's going to get deeper. So let's try that out. Look at the background of these photos. The one on the left was taken with me close, the one on the right I was backed up, and you can see the depth of field is different. There's way more background blur on the left on the trim than there is on the right. By the time you're backed up, you have a reasonable depth of field. And why I'm telling you that's practical is because if we're in a low lit environment, I'm inside this bar and it's dim and I'm taking pictures, it doesn't mean there's only going to be one tiny thing in focus. It just means you have to step back from your subject a bit. So if it seems impractical to you, it's not. You're letting in more light. And here you can see the difference between f1.2 and f1.8 to see what that stop of light can do. It's a little over a stop of light. And you're just getting a little cleaner image where you don't have to lower your shutter speed to get more light. And that's good because you don't have image stabilization in your lens, so you can't have that low shutter speed anyway. Let's put this lens in context a little bit. If you wanted to get a 50mm f1.8 STM lens, it's $240. If you wanted to get a 50mm f1.2 L lens, it's going to be $2,600. So I think what Canon's really doing here is they're stripping it of all of the fancy features to give you that f1.2 lens at a price that's really reasonable. Also, this lens is not weather sealed like an L level lens, so you're not going to be taking it to Burning Man, you're not going to be taking it in a rainstorm. Just be careful. Let's test some other parts of the image quality. I'm going to take pictures of Kayla with the sun behind her and see what the chromatic aberration looks like, what the flaring looks like, how it handles that. I am getting some flaring with the sun going right into the lens. And it looks interesting. If you like that sort of thing, it can give your lens character and give your shots character, but it's not like L level glass where it's super clean. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. That's where I host my website. If you want your very own website with your portraits, galleries, you can sell prints, you can sell whatever. You can get Squarespace for free for 14 days just to try it out and see if you like it. And if you use my coupon code Chelsea, you can get 10% off. So go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use that coupon Chelsea. That's CHELSEA. Thanks. Let's see how autofocus performs in video mode. Yeah, just a regular old walk. Ready? Go ahead. It looked like it was relatively fast. When she was walking slowly, it kept focus, but when she walked a little bit faster and got closer, you could see there was a tiny bit of a lag, but it also seemed quiet. So that quiet focusing motor is working for video. I think this would be perfectly fine for video, especially if you're not doing any fast action. I put this lens's autofocus to the test by having Kayla walk towards me while I took pictures. It got 15 photos in focus and 13 of the photos were slightly out of focus, putting the hit rate for this lens at above 50%. Now this lens is great for portraits, but it's also great for just around town. I took some pictures when I was in Mystic, Connecticut of the buildings and was happy with the versatility of the focal length. And then I took it to lunch to get some food photos and it also performed great there. At f1.2 you do get quite a bit of fringing. Let me zoom in and show you. So this is before I corrected it and you can see a purple fringe around the edges. And then I applied the chromatic aberration removal and it did get rid of it mostly, and you can see that in the railing too. I had to manually use the dropper to do that, so you can overcome some of the limitations of the lens by just using editing. Now I mentioned before that the minimum focusing distance is 1.5 feet, and that means that you have to kind of lean back a little bit if you're getting food photos, but it's still doable. You could still get people at the table across from you, and of course you could still do indoor low light events like concerts, things like that. Who is this lens for? Well, I think it's a great versatile lens for anyone who's on a budget, who might be eyeing something like the 50 f1.2 but doesn't want to spend over $2,000. Obviously, the image quality isn't that perfectly tack sharp, clean image quality like you see in the L series glass, but it's still very good and workable, and I think you're going to be happy with the images. You can of course close down the aperture a little bit if you want things to be a little cleaner, but it's really nice if you want that really smooth, creamy bokeh that gives you a really professional and interesting look. I would recommend it at $470. If you want this lens, be sure to use my link down below. Thank you, Squarespace, for making this video possible. If you want your own Squarespace website, check it out for free, 14 days. You don't need to put in your credit card or anything. And when you're ready to buy it, go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea to get 10% off. Thanks, and see you next time.